When you think of robots, the first image that pops into your head is probably some kind of humanoid android. Although fictional androids like Terminators are generally portrayed as physically superior to humans, this is not borne out by modern humanoid technology. For instance, the Tesla bot, at a modest 173 centimeters tall and 57 kgs, is advertised with a carrying capacity of only 20 kgs and with an ability to deadlift 68 kgs. The larger HRP 5P, made by the National Institute of Advanced Industrial Science and Technology in Japan at 182 centimeters and over 100 kgs, is only rated to carry 14 kgs. These figures are pretty pathetic compared to the average person, let alone experienced construction workers. Boston Dynamics, on the other hand, has developed multiple robot designs that are surprisingly agile and athletic, such as the humanoid Atlas and quadrupedal Spot, but even these have severe limitations. The quadrupedal dog-like Spot can move at a maximum speed of 6 kilometers per hour and can carry 14 kgs, which is about half of its total weight of 32 kgs. Spot has a runtime of 90 minutes and takes around 2 hours to fully charge. Current Atlas models can run or jog up to 9 kilometers per hour, but these are still in development. Bipedal and quadrupedal robots have come a long way since the inception of Boston Dynamics, but they are still far from comparable to human workers in every arena besides the dance floor. Far from autonomous death machines, modern robots are best suited to automating tasks that are predictable and require consistency, such as bricklaying, steel-truss assembly, welding, installation, painting, and concrete laying. Workers currently in these fields are unlikely to be replaced overnight. More likely, they will find themselves working alongside robots to complete tasks, with the robots focused on the more tedious aspects of the job. This would make many jobs more enjoyable for workers, but would also mean a reduction in the number of workers needed. As such, these tasks will likely become more specialized and competitive over time, with fewer job opportunities, but correspondingly higher wages. Construction is a dynamic industry where no two projects are the same. However, if modular prefabricated housing and buildings become more commonplace, this will lead to a greater consistency between projects and potentially allow for robots to undertake more and more of the labor. As both robotics and prefab construction technologies improve, this could cause a positive feedback loop whereby robots make it more economically viable to use prefab construction techniques, which in turn makes it more practical to use robots for construction labor. Robots themselves are also used in the prefabrication process, which would likely incentivize robot manufacturers to push for this kind of positive feedback. Robots can easily integrate with digital tools, perform tedious jobs without complaint, can eliminate risk to human workers in dangerous environments, and do not have human rights, all of which are attractive to employers. In terms of functionality, robots like Boston Dynamics Spot are already in use for autonomous inspections and for creating BIM point cloud-based models with scanning software. Using robots in place of humans takes humans out of the equation when it comes to health and safety, which can be useful for certain risky tasks or in more dangerous environments. However, malfunctioning or damaged robots may require retrieval at times, which may entail added risk if only a human is capable of performing this task. The main economic incentive to use robots is to reduce money spent on wages. Robots lack legal rights and are not subject to minimum wage laws, and hence can undercut human workers if their operating and maintenance costs are under minimum wage or the previous market price. This allows for larger profit margins, especially for larger businesses and corporations. This assumes the robot is equally capable as the average human worker, which may or may not be the case depending on the specific circumstances. A robot's lack of rights or sentience is also a double-edged sword in that they lack liability for when mistakes or accidents occur. A contractor may be able to charge a subcontractor for shoddy work that causes the former to incur a loss, but the story is rather murky when it comes to robots. If a robot makes a costly mistake or causes an accident, there may not be a single person or party who is liable to cover the mistake, at least according to the current regulations and laws. A robot making a mistake may come down to any combination of design, manufacturing, maintenance, or operating errors that can be difficult or impossible to disentangle. This is especially true of workplace injuries and fatalities. Who exactly is responsible when a life is ruined or lost at the hands of a robot? These types of unresolved legal issues are one of the barriers to self-driving vehicles. Robots with artificial intelligence, AI, that make decisions based on software will have to account for what to do when a human life or lives become endangered. This can lead to a trolley problem-like philosophical debates. If a construction worker runs in the way of a machine and is at 95% risk of being killed, should the machine swerve and put 5 other workers at a 10% risk of being killed, or just run over and deliberately kill the one worker? Again, from a legal perspective, this is largely uncharted waters, and most people are uneasy with leaving life or death decisions in the hands of unfeeling machines. Robotic technologies are making steady improvements in and outside of the construction industry, but are still constrained by practical, mechanical, economical, and moral issues. Which jobs may be supplemented or supplanted by robots in the near future is a game of educated guessing. The more predictable a task is, the more likely a robot can do it for cheaper than a human worker. To keep up to date with new trends in robotics, do your own research online. Boston Dynamics is perhaps the leading company in the world at the moment in terms of robots, and the capabilities of their current models will give you an idea of where we're headed. Contact the Digital Boost support team for any questions or concerns. Don't forget to check out our real-world stories to see how other companies are doing in the industry.